So I went ahead and took some notes on Roman McClay, aka Lyndon James Macleod. There was a mass shooting that happened 2 weeks ago in Denver. Everybody was talking about it 2 weeks ago, but apparently it's all died down and now nobody's talking about it. They're talking about some other, horrible tragedy. But I just took some notes and yeah, so Roman McClay is 47. He's 47 years old. He had wrote a book and he actually killed the victims of the book. The character in the book killed the victims of the same people that he killed. So he had fantasized about it, wrote it in the book, and then he executed it. 5 people were killed in the shootings and several were wounded, including a policewoman. There was 5 killed. It's not. I think one of them, at least one of them, was not somebody he knew from before. Investigators believe that the gunman had targeted some of the other victims, though. For instance, Michael Swinyard. So there's a character that was named Michael Swinyard in one of his books, Roman McClay. And in the part where he goes to kill Michael Swinyard, he says that the whole thing was his raisen detre or some shit. Some Latin word that means his entire reason for existence. His entire reason for existence, Roman McClay's entire reason for existence was to kill Michael Swinyard. Michael Swinyard does seem like a fat cat capitalist. Doesn't seem like, he doesn't have much personality. He's, a handsome man. He's got like steely blue eyes and, I don't know. But Michael Swinyard, apparently he's a construction owner and he wears tuxedos. So I don't know anything about Michael Swinyard, but he's going to say that when he gets to hell, tell him that he still owes McClay $23,000, and then when he arrives in hell many years later, he still expects for Michael Swinyard to pay him. And the way that he was able to kill Michael Swinyard, he did it just like he had described in his book. He said in the book he dressed in police gear and killed. He dressed in police gear and he went to a building located at 1300 Williams Street. These are all the same, addresses, and so it's almost incredible that he had wrote this book without Michael Swinyard being, without Michael Swinyard knowing anything about it. So he's going to get killed at the exact same address, and he acted like a cop, just like he said he was. So he wore tactical gear, and he had like some AR, some assault rifle, and then he had a badge, and he went into the apartment building, and there was a paid security guard there. And before, I think he tricked the security guard, but they made it seem like he forced entry and then killed Michael Swinyard when he went into the apartment complex. Roman McClay seems to be all show. He's got that cigar in his mouth, just like Suge Knight, and then he's got the braided beard. There's a Twitter account for the Colorado Springs Anti-Fascists, which describes itself as a group that is exposing fascists and disrupting their organization in so-called Colorado. Tweeted to this writer that McLeod was a white nationalist. The group pointed to its own tweet making a similar claim. The Denver mass shooter was a white supremacist and misogynist, obsessed with masculinity, oppressing women, defending the white race, shooting communists. The tweet from Colorado Springs Anti-Fascist claimed as proof it posted a series of social media posts, including 2 that are apparently written by McLeod and posted under his social media alter ego and pen name Roman McClay. He's apparently 4% Neanderthal, Scottish Highlander. That genetics was very important to him. Apparently for Scottish Highlanders and 4% Neanderthals, if you have one insult, then you're fighting for 7 generations. It's just in the culture. You go from the crow's nest to the derrick. He was born in trouble. He says he's got personality, just doesn't like to be told what to do. There was a ton of interviews. So many people had interviewed this guy. And there was actually something that tripped me out about all this. I'm sitting there reading the reviews for Sanction the book, and it looks like Jordan Peterson had wrote a review saying how wonderful it was. Right, he quotes the Skaldic sagas and the Japanese from the Kofin regime, the wisdom of tribes long lost in the Lakadan jungles I've never heard of. He's got genomic data on SNPS and alleles so specific that I had to give up following each footnote, and as if my prostrating wasn't enough, he pounds the reader with Melville, Shakespeare, and Milton and says aloud each Bible quote you wish he never even read, much less written down. This may be the second or third best book ever penned about the mind, the soul of the madman, the megalomaniacal poet, the old warrior gone insane. But then there's a little quote here by Hunter S. Thompson, who's been dead for quite some time. So are these reviews fake or what? Yeah, they are. Okay, carrying on. He says some people have personality that just don't want to be told what to do, so they're kind of born in jail, the state of Colorado. He got in some trouble in a way. The state of Colorado actually radicalized him. He got in some trouble. There was some situation where he pulled out a firearm, and then he said he was staying at a hotel waiting for arrest. It never happened. He turned himself in, but there were SWAT teams, BOLO. There was some kind of warrant. Kyle Clark, journalist, he wrote on Twitter, the shooting spree suspect's business, Flat Black Ink Corp, published a novel in which a man also named Lyndon shoots and kills people at a tattoo shop on 6th Avenue. He added that the business has been in delinquent status with state regulators since 2017. McLeod appeared obsessed with genetics on social media, writing more journalism, MOAR. So it does seem Americans don't understand their history. Northern Yankee fucks are genetically different from Southern rednecks. We are nothing alike. He engaged in threats against another author that landed him a visit from the FBI, according to one Twitter user in June 2020. Ferris ordered McLeod to drop his weapon. This is Ashley Ferris. So the Lakewood police agent that eventually takes McLeod down, this is how it happens. This is near St. Vance Street and West Alaska Drive in Lakewood. So you just had this, Roman McClay, right? This Roman McLeod. He just shot and killed 5 people. And now he is faced with Ashley Ferris. And Ashley Ferris confronts McLeod in the shopping area near the hotel. Says, drop the weapon, as he approached her. And he didn't drop the weapon. Instead, he picked the weapon up and shot her in the stomach. And that caused Ashley Ferris to fall to the ground. And then Ashley Ferris fired a fatal shot while she was down on the ground. Saved her life and no telling a lot of other people's lives that day. So Agent Ashley Ferris, shot and wounded on the ground, was able to return fire on the suspect. The suspect was shot by Agent Ferris and died on the scene. Ferris remains in the hospital, according to the Wednesday news release. In another book, you have Roman McClay. McLeod writes about a character killing a woman named Alicia Cardenas. The medical examiner's office said a woman named Alicia Cardenas was killed. 44 years old. She's the owner of the Soul Tribe Tattoo and Body Piercing. Alfredo Cardenas, the father of Alicia Cardenas, told KMGH his daughter was gregarious, friendly, and a real leader in the community. 2 other Soul Tribe employees were shot in the Monday night rampage, the father told the affiliate. A Soul Tribe assistant manager, Alyssa Gunn Maldonado, was killed, and her husband, James Maldonado, had been hospitalized. A friend and former colleague told CNN. James Maldonado was a piercer at the tattoo studio. Swinyard, he's 67, this old Swinyard. I mean, who is this guy, and how does he owe him $23,000? Some people say that book was like a third-rate Tyler Durden masturbation fantasy. Even the criticisms like make it sound better. Swinyard 67. See, there's two other victims in the suburb of Lakewood. Danny Schofield, 38, who was fatally shot at Lucky 13 Tattoo, and Sarah Steck, 28-year-old Sarah Steck, who was killed while working at the Hyatt House Hotel. So that's at least 4, right? Or 5. 2 years. Okay, so he got in trouble by pulling a gun out. Somebody did something to him. He pulled a gun out, and he had a deferred sentence. He said it cost him $250,000, but after 2 years, the charges are expunged, and then he'd get his carry concealed weapon back. And apparently in Colorado, if you apply for a carry concealed weapon and you don't have a felony on your record, they have to give you the carry concealed license, or that's what he understood it. And so he said his lawyer was great, expensive but great, but it actually sounded like his lawyer fucked him over. So it also seems like he could have very much been radicalized by the damn system. His book, Sanction, it says, like the main thing is, there's this evil mad genius trying to change the DNA to make criminals or something. I don't know, but there's a main character that shoots 46 people in one night. And the logic is if you kill one person, then you go to jail for life. So then why not, kill 46 people? So by actually, Ashley Ferris, by having Ashley Ferris shooting and kill him, she probably saved 41 people's lives that night. So he said he was an atheist for 25 years. I'm not for sure if he's conservative or liberal, Republican or Democrat. If he's a Christian, he's saying that sanction came from God. I don't know if that's Muslim, probably Christian, right? So he was inspired by a Christian God to write Sanction, and it's like there's 3 volumes, and God came to him in a daydream when he was hanging out in the mountains of Colorado. He's got this braided beard. He's interviewed by several podcasters. I mean, now they're infamous, right? But I just feel like his hair, his clothes, his image was very important to him. He liked Hunter Thompson. He liked Jordan Peterson. He liked Shakespeare. He liked King Lear and Coriolanus, with Gerard Butler as Ophidius and Vanessa Redgrave as Volumnia in the modern day film. So he liked Coriolanus. I don't know. He was actually pretty learned. He knew a whole bunch of authors all through, Shakespeare was his favorite. He said he was a huge fan of Shakespeare, and really, who the hell can stand Shakespeare? Shakespeare's too damn hard. It's too damn hard. So he's after he kills the 46 people in the book, he's convicted in prison and then eventually cloned to serve as a government assassin. Swinyard is prominently in the book. He's the business partner. So him and what is it, Lyndon James? What's his? Lyndon James McLeod and Roman McClay. Roman McClay. It's easier to remember and say, but it's kind of funny. I'm Roman McClay. You made that. That's the best you could have came up. Yep, McClay. Like McDonald's, but not Donald. Clay. McClay. And then he writes under a pen name Roman McClay, but his main character is Lyndon James McLeod. So what? There's in Sanction the 2 between McLeod and Swinyard. They ran medical marijuana grow houses and they laundered the profits through a tattoo shop. I wonder if that had something to do with it. They ran medical marijuana grow houses and laundered profits through a tattoo shop. McLeod believes Swinyard sold the tattoo shop and didn't share the profits. In the book, McLeod begins his night of murder with Swinyard. He argues, right, the murder charge carries a life sentence. Might as well commit a bunch in a single night. The mission was twofold. McLeod wrote in a chapter describing Swinyard's assassination: execute Michael for his treason and take everyone's money. In reality, Swinyard lived in a high-rise building on One Cheeseman Place. In the book, McLeod describes parking his truck on the south side of Cheeseman Park at 1300 William Street while donning police gear with a loaded semi-automatic pistol and an M4 rifle. He uses a ruse to trick the building's doorman into taking him into Swinyard's apartment, murders the doorman, murders and robs Swinyard and the group of men playing poker with him in the building's penthouse common room. Denver shooting suspect identified by police. In the wake of Monday night's Denver killings, the Swinyard apartment complex distributed a letter to the residents detailing some of the details. The letter said McLeod was dressed in tactical police gear and was allowed into the building by a security guard. He forced his way into Swinyard's apartment and killed him. Unlike the book, McLeod did not kill the security guard, who managed to escape to a neighboring apartment to call 911. Police and federal officials admit to investigating McLeod in the years between the book's publication in 2018 and the killing spree, but no charges were filed against him. According to its Amazon listing, the first book, Sanction 1, was ranked number 16 in the genetic engineering science fiction category and number 50 in the dystopian fiction. Lyndon James Macleod was named by police as the shooter who went on a rampage throughout Denver and Lakewood, Colorado, leaving a trail of 5 deceased victims and a wounded police officer on December 27th, 2021.